This video is going to show you a solo flawless legend Vox Obscura during the week 2 of the Exotic Rotator playlist. This is done on a Barrens Steps Solar Titan with the exotic hand cannon SUNSHOT. The reason for this is because hand cannons have had a buff recently, so it's just gameplay of that. We'd shown you a ×4 build, surge build. Because Path of the Barrens Steps, how it works is that's basically what its exotic perk does. The only thing with that is it does stack with Radiant, the Barrens Steps, but it doesn't stack with surges on your boots. When I ran this run, when I ran this clear, I didn't realise that until afterwards. Because this exotic has been off my radar for ages. I used it when it first came out, and then fell off the radar with not using it because there was far other options. And I'm a Titan. When I'm on a Titan, I'm on Interceptor 80% of the time. So Path of the Barrens Steps isn't really on my radar for the most part. But with this build, it really works out well because even though the ×4 surges isn't that much more than triple surge, the difference is that you can proc the surges behind cover. Do you realise how strong that is? So yeah, you can make a bajillion orbs and pick them up and get the surges. What you need to understand is on a solo GM or a solo endgame mission, if you can proc a surge behind cover for free, basically, that is so strong. People are forgetting that because they're playing fire teams. So a Warlock pops a well for them, they get their orbs. What Warlock's gonna give me well here? I'm solo. So they have a place in the game. You can solo with them. There you go. So yes, they've indirectly got a nerf kind of, but they're so useful solo because I can get my ×4 surge anytime I want. This is dependent on activity. Like I say, I can actually make a ton of orbs in this as well. But I'm just stating out that's its strength, is that it makes surges when you're behind cover, and you need cover in endgame stuff. You need to be using your cover. I know you in your fire teams you don't need cover, but we need cover. So that's what its strength is. Fire team wise, I wouldn't recommend this. Fire team wise, it will be just your general stuff. Your Splendors, your Interceptors, your Strongholds now. Stuff like that. That's what you would be using. But what I'm doing here is just killing the tank with my weapons. You can one-shot the tank with the Interceptor that I've just abandoned. I don't want to do it because I want to test out Rapid Fire Ranger with this machine gun. That is the reason why I killed the tank with my guns. Because Rapid Fire Ranger is an artifact mod and debuffs enemies. So, you've seen I just melt the tank really quickly, so that's nice. This is really important. Make sure you pick up the Drake tank as soon as possible as it lands off the aircraft. The quicker you do this, the easier time you have of skipping these enemies. I would say if you can get out of that little encounter there with 70% HP, you've done well. I actually got hit way more than what I needed to because my tank sort of landed awkward. But half HP is probably enough for me to deal with the double tank section. Because what you need to understand is the Drake tank. This is the name of the tank. If you don't kill the double tanks before your tank explodes, you don't get another Drake tank until next phase. The Drake tank does massive damage. If you lose the Drake tank during this phase, you only have an Interceptor, which is far more riskier than a tank. So just bear that in mind. Make sure you strafen the shots. And also, the free pads are healing pads for your tank. You'll see me use that in a minute. Like, if the tank's almost one-shot and you lose this tank, it ain't a problem because you just pop your super then. Just pop your super and finish the tank off if you need to do that. So, it's unfortunate. The actual tank killed mine whilst it was healing. That's unfortunate, but that doesn't matter. It makes no odds to the run because now you are rewarded with unlimited Drake tanks because you've cleared out the double tanks. The enemy tanks, that is. So now we'll summon the Drake tank and then just stay on left-hand pad. If you stay on this pad, you are invincible almost. Because the pad will continually heal you, out-heal all the damage. Credit to Eso. I saw it on his run. I didn't have any clue about this. So, Eso's run showcased that you can just sit here with a tank and out-heal everything. Fantastic. Little good find there. So you can just take out the two pillars, you know, but you can't take out the right side pillar because it's out of your angle to take out the destroyables. So when you get to the third tower, just get off this pad and move over to right side pad, and you can just sit on that one as well. No need to keep moving around. Just literally do that. Take out all the freshers as well, because unless you're on Hunter, you can't go invis on a Solar Titan like this. Well, not you can with certain exotics, but that's not the point. Just take out the freshers so that you can run past them, run past all these enemies easy. Less you're gonna have to take out all the enemies. Once all the towers are destroyed, your timer ends, so you can do what you want right now. So there's no rush, but obviously you may as well just skip the enemies because there's no point to taking them out. There's no scoring system. There's no platinum rating. What's the point in all that, right? Just deal with what you've got to deal with so that you can get to the next section. So yeah, deal with all the freshers and then use the tank to make it open it at the exit, of course. So the next section is the time section, which you now get 15 minutes. The master version of Vox Obscura was 10 minutes, which was actually brutally hard compared to this one. Not brutally hard, but actually the timing was really tight compared to this. The fact that you get an extra 5 minutes compared to Master Vox is a godsend for players. Right, so this makes the run far more comfortable to do for the average player. There's also no barrier champions. In the original Master Vox, there was barrier champions. There is none. I can't believe it. I've run it today expecting to be barriers. Like when I first came on, there's no barriers. It's just unstoppables. So it's even easier. So not only less champs, more time. The run's just, like I say, I think that might be a problem what I've just said though as well, now that I think about it. If you think about it, this rotator playlist has landed too easy if I think about it. Because the solos I've done on it haven't got a lot of views, and neither has a lot of other people got a lot of views. Everyone's got less views than yet general, and the views should be going sky high. The reason being, I think the low count is low on Presage and Vox so far is because they're easy. Because people are doing them without the video, because you've got plenty of time to do the run. So on one hand it's easy for the average player, but on the other hand it's a nightmare for content creators, because how the hell can we make content on it if the mission's too easy? So we'll see how this playlist goes, but they may need to buff it. They may need to make it harder so that we can make content on it. Because listen, that's how Destiny 2's lived for 10 years. Content creation has kept it going all these years. It's a thing of supply and demand. The player gets the game, they need help with a video, they watch a content creator. That's how the game lasts as long as it has. Without content creators, the game won't last. It's as simple as that. It might not even last after next year. We'll see how we go. But I'm just saying, like, the playlist so far seems that it's landed too easy. However, I will say the rewards are bang on, and they've got the crafting great. The fact that traits are dropping and all this sort of stuff, they've got all that stuff bang on. But they may need to, I don't know what they need to do, but it doesn't seem to have landed difficulty enough. And a couple of people have said that. So with this little section with the scannables, I'm going to deal with middle first. Rather than going for a scan, forget about that. Take out all the enemies in middle first. Because this is the part that's most annoying because of the solar flames and stuff. Right, and there's an unstoppable champion, there's turrets, there's a colossus that used to be a barrier. Deal with all those enemies first. Then we can deal with a scannable. Pick one. I'm going to go with middle first because it's right here. Obviously, always have the restoration chain going. I've basically got infinite solar restoration if I keep getting my sunshot kills because of my setup, because of the build that you saw at the start of the video. With the Ember of Empyrean and Solace. It means basically I have that infinite restoration providing I keep getting solar kills. That's obviously why we've got a healing grenade on. Right, so plus with the buff, Sunshot's doing really good ag clear, like top tier ag clear. There's no doubt about it. It's a fantastic gun and can be a really good choice in endgame content. But make sure you get your scannable after every Scion kill. Be careful with the sounds because they do quite a bit of damage to you if you're not careful and not taking them out at the right position. Do it on a ledge. Use Riptide if you want to freeze them. Use the machine gun to stagger and get debuff via rapid fire ranger. Use your special ammo and stuff because you get plenty of ammo now. Primary, special, heavy. I don't think you should. I have no complaints with the ammo economy so far in the game. I've found it to be really good. I haven't tested ammo economy in dungeons yet, which I will get round to Ghost of the Deep when I get round to it, because that's the big question. What's Ghost of the Deep like now for a heavy ammo, or even Grasp of Avarice for that matter, or even Prophecy? Because you all know when you're on phase 2, phase 3 of those dungeons, ammo doesn't drop if you're using primary, special, heavy, or it doesn't drop as well as it should. So I've yet to see that, but so far in the game I've found that heavy ammo drops frequently enough. Special ammo's really dropping really well. I'm happy enough with the way the ammo economy is at the minute. We're on the last scannable. Once you do your last scannable, obviously the middle door opens up and then you got the final boss. I'm going to actually show you the full amount of enemy spawns that can occur in the final boss room and how you can actually DPS the boss with just you and the boss, making it a very, very easy solo flawless clear. Because when you think of Vox Obscura, you always remember how hectic it was at the final boss. Well, now the way it works is there's not infinite adds, so you can deal with the entire room and manage it to your leisure, and you got 15 minutes, so you don't need to do crazy damage to the boss to melt him down. You're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage if you do melt down the boss too quickly, because then phase 2 and 3 are more awkward, and you'll see that as I go on. So like I say, I'll give you the steps, but if you're struggling to solo flawless, which there is no emblem by the way, it's just a tag, right? If you are struggling to solo flawless, then follow the steps. But although I will say though, if you die, you actually lose your progress and you get spawned back to your 15-minute timer at the start of this section. So you do need to actually stay alive here. So I will state that even though there is no technical solo flawless emblem for this mission or anything like that. Right, so you want to have your heavy reloaded mainly. If you've got obviously a surge, then that's good, but it doesn't matter too much. And then we're just going to proc a rapid fire ranger on the boss. That's your first thing. Just do DPS. We don't need to do massive damage right now. You're not looking to do that. We're just looking to see where the boss goes. It's RNG. He sometimes go left or right. Right, so he's went left in this case. We proc a healing nade, and then we're going to have a popper hammers. We're just popping hammers because we want to get the super away so that we get a reset on our next cooldown for later on. And it's doing nice damage for us. Plus, we are able to get the boss to almost a third. But the key is not to send the boss to a third. Get him above the third. Right? Then clear out the full room of all enemies. Forget about the boss at this point. The boss will send out a void pulse wave, which will lock you in, which you shoot your way out of it. Do that obviously, but for the most part you want to take out all the sounds. There's sounds left and right. There's sounds on right side because we weren't here before, but we'll deal with them. This means it's so consistent for every phase. There's barely any adds, which most people say, oh, there's tons of enemies. Yeah, because you're melting the boss too quickly and not dealing with each ad as it comes. This is how you're actually meant to do it. And this has been the philosophy by Bungie for a long time. They don't want you melting bosses. You are punished for melting a boss by getting a ton of ads spawn in as you're doing it. Right? They don't want you solo one phase and bosses like we used to in 2017/18. Which if you weren't around, it was a fantastic time and I did enjoy that time. But they don't want you doing that anymore. So if you micromanage the boss's HP and do HP manipulation like what I'm doing, it's so easy. Like, look, we're in middle. Remember, there's turrets that spawn in middle. So what we're going to do, right? We're going to do a little trick. We're going to send the boss away. Well, not send him away, but get him to a third. Pop a healing rift, machine gun all the turrets, or even sunshot. That way, you have just eliminated a risky moment in this mission. That is the riskiest moment when you spawn in the turrets because they can hit you from down below. Now that we've done that, we have full control of this mission now. There's no RNG. There's no, oh well, a gladiator killed me. There's none of that. It's just cleared all the enemies. There is no infinite waves of enemies. This is actually breaking down the full room for you. Like I said, I could have done this quicker, a quicker clear, but this is a more of a consistent clear, and you will do it every time, providing that you follow the steps. That's all you need to be doing, is following the steps. You don't need to be making crazy plays. You don't need to have fast reactions. It's what the knowledge is upstairs that counts in a lot of the stuff of how the game works nowadays. It's knowledge of the spawns. Because if it was based on reactions, let me just tell you this, if it was based on reaction speed, if PvE was based on reaction speed, then all the PvP players would be the best PvP players. Think about it, but they're not. A lot of PvP players are trash apart from some of them, right? So it's not based on reaction speed. That just tells you it right there. However, it does help if you've got a little bit more of a reaction speed as well, because obviously that's going to help you in the day one raid races and stuff like that. But I'm on about just looking at it at a traditional sense. If you're just trying to solo something, you just need to know all the individual factors. What enemy spawns up when? What is the trigger of that? What is the best loadout? What build would be more suitable for my playstyle? Because my playstyle might differ to someone else's. My playstyle is more on the passive-aggressive playstyle, right? That's just sort of where I sit. So builds like this suit me. But not only that, because empath is on, the modifier that you take increased melee damage from, melee-based builds aren't always the best choice for this because of empath. So, because we've got Sunshot that's dealing damage from a range, we don't have to put up with that. Because you can get one-shot by the Colossus that spawns on phase 1 and 2, which we actually dealt with. We've dealt with the first one. I think the other one is alive, or have we dealt with him before? Can't mind. But all our damage is dealing with from a range. Plus we've got hammers on, which is going to be useful for us on phase 3. But this boss fight rotation you saw me do, I've killed every single enemy on phase 1 and 2. But I'm not an advocate of killing ads when you don't need to. Phase 1 and 2, certainly, kill them. But phase 3 you don't need to, because we're going to set ourselves up in such a way that we kill the boss in one go. So that, because obviously after that the mission ends. So we'll send the boss, we'll do our trick, we'll stay in mid as we do this so we can comfortably kill all the turrets. I actually missed one, that's fine, I'll get the other one later. And then we can just, as I say, clear the ads as they spawn. I actually spawned here. How is the boss taking damage? His shield's been taken off. That is weird. He regained his shield there as well. That is so weird, looking that back. What happened with that? So, yeah, my restoration ended and I went to a safe zone, but the enemies didn't get to me quick enough for me to extend solar restoration. That's fine, because I've actually just got a healing nade coming back up. So make sure you've got a good discipline stat for moments when you may lose restoration for whatever reason. We just cleared out all the enemies. The gladiators are a problem though. They will almost kill you with one melee hit. So I'm actually, like I said, playing pretty close to them. But the Sunshot is absolutely melting. Because you've got to realise there are red bars in the game that are tanky. Certain red bars. Those gladiators are generally quite tanky. And Sunshot's just melted them down really quickly because of our build. There's one more to get. I was actually trying to, because I've got Radiant up, I'll do DPS, but there's one more bubble to take out. That's fine though. Notice the buffs on the left hand side. I've got full Roaring Flames. I debuff the boss with the LMG first, pop super as the boss does a solar attack to us, and the Roaring Flames is enough plus debuff to kill the boss with this super. That will then obviously kill the boss, and then we can go and claim our loot. So that's just showing you really how to easily do it. I know there's Pyrogate Gauntlets, but it didn't suit me using Pyrogate Gauntlets in this because it would do too much DPS, and I couldn't show you all the enemy spawns. Whereas on this build I can. The Pyrogate Gauntlets will be saved for another video that I do on something else. that was the solo flawless for the Legend Vox Obscura. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.